Hey, I'm Doug. Welcome to Backcountry Pilgrim, my channel devoted to camping, hiking, backpacking, and the kind of gear that goes with it. Today I want to be looking at a couple of budget tactical flashlights from a company called Vont. I love tactical flashlights, and if you're anything like me, you probably have them all over your house and car, backpacks, you name it. If there's a place to put a flashlight, I've probably got one there. I don't like to spend a lot of money on these kinds of things. As long as they turn on and I can get around the house at night and blind somebody if I have to, that's usually good enough for me. My first tactical flashlight was this beauty right here. This is a Techlite Lumen Master from Costco. You got like 5 of these in a blister pack with all the batteries, and it probably ran about $10 or $12. Now, this worked fine. It's 200 lumens, and it performed good enough for a drawer flashlight or something. But eventually most of these got lost, and it was time to replace them. About that time, I did my first giveaway on this channel, and I gave away a Vont headlamp. In another video, I'm going to go over the features of the Vont headlamp and also compare it to some of the more standard brands that are out there for backpacking. But right now what I want to talk about are tactical flashlights. Now, if the word tactical kind of puts you off, don't worry, you don't have to be military or SWAT or something to use one of these. The feature set on a tactical flashlight is pretty handy, even if you're just going to be leaving it by your bedside for light at night. Number one, they're very bright for their size. It's not uncommon for a tactical flashlight to get up into the thousands of lumens in something that can basically fit in your fist. And speaking of your fist, another feature of the tactical flashlight is often this crenellated crown that allows you to do some damage if you have to pop somebody in the middle of the night for breaking into your house. Sometimes you will also find the same feature on the crown on the bottom so that it'll work in either direction. Another feature of the tactical flashlight is multiple light modes. Typically you'll have at least high and low, if not also a medium or maybe even more settings as far as how bright the light is. Typically they will also have a strobe feature, which is very disorienting to someone who is sneaking around your house. Some of them will also have a signal mode, like they'll put out an SOS signal so that you can run it without having to push the button yourself. They're typically made of aluminum or titanium or steel, some kind of very, very tough metal. They are usually water resistant, if not waterproof, which also makes them dust resistant, impact resistant, you name it. These are typically tough little workhorse flashlights. Now, the one that I'm holding in my hand right now is very small. This is my everyday carry flashlight. It's very tiny, just weighs a couple of ounces. My only complaint with this flashlight is that if I ever did need to use it as a weapon in my hand, it basically disappears. I actually have 2 tactical flashlights from Vont. The first one is the XOR. It's a little bit more of a reasonable size for self-defense. If I pick this up, pretty much any grip I get is going to give me the ability to fight. This one has 2 brightness levels plus a strobe, and it also does the half button push to cycle you through the modes. This only weighs 2.8 ounces, so it's very lightweight considering how tough it is. It is IPX4 certified, which means that it can handle splashed water from any direction, but it is not submersible, so you want to call it water resistant, not really waterproof. It also puts out 400 lumens, which is pretty decent for a flashlight of this size, and it can run up to 4 hours on 3 AAA batteries. Now, this flashlight only ran $12.99 on Amazon, and I'll put links to these below in the description of the video. The XOR has its bigger brother, the Blaze. As you can see, the Blaze is a bit bigger than the XOR. It fits pretty neatly in the hand, but I wouldn't call this compact. I'd probably say this is more of like a medium-size tactical flashlight. This weighs in at 6.5 ounces, so this is not a lightweight flashlight for people who are maybe doing backpacking or hiking, although it's a great weight for camping or having around the house. All right, after I got these flashlights, I took them to give them a test, so let's roll that footage now. All right, so I began with the XOR, and you see it lights up pretty well. That's zooming in and pulling slowly back out to see how wide the light would go. I then switched to the Blaze, and the light is not as bright. When you zoom in, it is quite a bit tighter as far as the pattern goes, and when you zoom out, it is quite a bit wider of a beam. Now, what's interesting about this flashlight is that Vont seems to rate it at 200 lumen. However, there are a number of flashlights on the market that have this exact same look, and my guess is that a lot of different companies are basically just putting their brand on this particular model. What's interesting is that practically every other brand that advertises this style flashlight is saying that their flashlight is 1000 lumen, even though they're basically the same price and look exactly the same. So I don't know if Vont is just being more conservative in their claims or what, but I have a hard time believing that everybody else has figured out how to make 1000 lumen flashlight of this exact same model, and Vont is coming in at only 200. Vont claims this flashlight can last up to 9 hours of light, but I've seen reviews that put it at over 11. It runs on 3 AAA batteries, but you also have a plastic sleeve that comes with the flashlight that allows you to run a lithium battery inside the light instead of the AAAs. For that, you're going to want a button top 18650 lithium battery. It's got a high, a medium, a low, then it's got the strobe and an SOS. And like the others, it does have a half press cycle through so that you don't have to turn the flashlight all the way on and all the way off every time you switch modes. It is zoomable from a fine square LED spot all the way out to more of a floodlight. It is water resistant, it is shock resistant, and it is very tough. Now Vont sells these in pairs of 2 for $15. However, if you use the discount code that I have for you down in the description below, you can get 10% off this flashlight or any other Vont product. So what do I think about the Vont Blaze? Well, first of all, I have to say that after doing the headlamp comparison video, I was extremely impressed by how long the Vont light lasted. So while I have not done an all-day test on this particular flashlight, and I don't plan on buying the rechargeable battery that would probably do even better, I know that Vont has been very trustworthy as far as how long these last. As far as the overall flashlight, I do actually prefer the XOR to the Blaze because I like the size of this a lot better. It's a brighter flashlight, it's a smaller flashlight, but it's pretty much exactly the right size for what I think of as a tactical flashlight. To me, the Blaze is a little big. To me, it feels more like a small, full-size flashlight than what I think of as a tactical flashlight. But the benefit to this size is that it does fit neatly in the hand, it keeps the zoom head free, you can operate it one-handed, and it's not unreasonable for a medium-sized flashlight. For hiking and backpacking, again, I would take something that is smaller and brighter, but for camping, just kind of hanging around the house, this is a good size and it's plenty bright enough. My chief complaint with many tactical flashlights is the controls. So I turn the light on, it's on high. On off, medium. On off, low. On off, strobe, SOS, you get the point. What's annoying about this kind of control is that if I pick my flashlight up, I don't necessarily know what mode it's going to come on in. I didn't mean for strobe to come on, but because it was on medium the last time I used it, it's going to be on strobe the next time I use it. And the only way to get through is to cycle through the power button or do the half presses. So for example, now when I turn this on, I'm on bright. Turn it off, put it on the shelf, come back later, turn it on, medium. Not so much of a problem. But later if I come over, I need it on right now, I've got to cycle through the modes again to get where I want to be. What's interesting about the Blaze is that if you wait long enough, it seems to cycle through the modes in the typical way. So there's my 5 modes. So let's try this. I'm going to go bright, medium, low. Now the next press should be strobe. I'm going to give it a few seconds, and hello, we're back on bright again. If I wait about 5 seconds in between modes, when I turn it on, it goes right to the top of the cycle set, right to bright, which is what I typically would want in the middle of the night if I just wanted to grab a flashlight and see what's going on. That right there is worth the whole package to me. Now what's interesting about this is that Vont does not list this as a feature on their flashlight. I mean, I don't know, maybe mine's malfunctioning, but it's worked every time I've tried it. Vont, if you're listening, I would love to see the same control set being placed in something the size and brightness of the XOR. If you ever put those two together, I think you're going to have the perfect budget tactical flashlight. All right, I hope this video has been helpful to you. If it has, would you mind giving it a like? And if you are not a subscriber to this channel, go ahead and hit that bright red subscribe button, become a subscriber, click the bell, and put it on all so that you'll know every time a video drops. Until next time, I'm Doug. This is Backcountry Pilgrim. Thank you for watching.